Hi, this is Dave from the Flowood High School. We've been going through in construction math, we've been going through how to multiply two-digit numbers fairly quickly when we have a common base number. So we did problems like 14, I'll write that out different. 14 times 18, we said it's got a common base number of 10. And when we look at these numbers, 14 is 4 plus 4 more than 10. 18 is plus 8 more than 10. We add diagonally, either way. If you add either direction that you add, you're going to come up with the same number. 14 plus 8, or 8 plus 4. Either way, you're going to come out to 22. So that's our last two numbers on the left-hand side of your problem. Take that 22 times 10, 220. So you're multiplying this, 220. Now you're going to multiply these two numbers together. 8 times 4 is 32. You'll take that 32 and add it to the 220, and you end up with 252. Like I said, these are quick, simple ways that we were learning how to do math, and you can do this in your head. It's a simpler way. Now we'll go through a couple other ones just as a refresher. And you can do this with any numbers that have a common base number. So that was the 10s. We can do the 20s. 26 times 28. They've got a common base of 20. 26 is plus 6 more than 20. 28 is plus 8 more than 20. Add diagonally. You're adding those. You can go either direction, like I said. 26 plus 8 is 34. Again, you're multiplying that times your base number, so 34 times 20. So you can do that in your head. But it's 680. Now we're going to multiply these two numbers together. 8 times 6 is 48. We'll add it to here. Add those numbers. We're adding. We have 8, 12, carry the 1, 728. That was with the base units of 20. Okay, base units of 30. We'll do 34 times 37. Base unit of 30. 34 is 4 more than 30. 37 is 7 more than 30. Add together diagonally. 34 plus 7 is 41. Again, we're going to multiply times here. So 41, basically you're just multiplying by 3. So you have 3, 12, and then add your 0. 1,230. Multiply these two numbers. 7 times 4 is 28. Add the 28 to here. Now add those together. 1,258 is your answer. So that's the last ones that we had gone through. We did 10, 20s, and 30s. I'm going to show you 40s just really quick. 40s is the exact same thing. You're just getting into a little bit bigger numbers. But you can do this all the way through. So if we did, let's say 47 times 48. We use the base number of 40 because they're both in the 40s digits. 47 is 7 more than 40. 48 is 8 more than 40. Add these diagonally, just one direction. 47 plus 8 is 55. You're going to multiply by the base number, so you're basically multiplying it just by 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2 is 22. Then we got to add the 0, so we come up with 2,200. Now we're going to multiply 8 times 7, which is 56. We add that, and we come up with 2,256. So you can do that all the way through. Like I said, you're just going to get into a little bit bigger math problems as you go through. I'm going to show you something a little bit different with 50s. It'll be, try to make it a little bit simpler as you're doing it. Instead of multiplying it by 5, we're going to actually multiply it by 100 and divide by 2. Okay? Let's do 53 times 54. And we're going to do the same basic thing. We're going to start out with the base number of 50. So that's our base number. They're both in the 50s digits. So 53 is 3 more than 50. 54 is 4 more than 50. Going to add diagonally. 53 plus 4 is 57. Now, one thing we're going to do different, instead of multiplying 57 by 50, we're going to multiply it by 100, and then we're going to divide it by 2. Now, if we multiply 57 by 100, all we need to do is add 2 zeros. So we got 5,700. Now we can divide that by 2. Half of 5,700 is 2,850. Okay? So now we have 2,850. We'll multiply those same two numbers again. The 4 times the 3 is 12. We're going to add the 12 to our 2,850, and we end up with 2,862. So we're doing the same thing, but a little bit different. I'll do a couple more. Uh, 57 times 58. We'll do the same thing. We have a base number of 50. 57 is 7 greater than 50. So plus 7. 58 is 8 bigger than 50. So plus 8. Add diagonally, just one direction. 57 plus 8 is 65. We're going to do the same thing. We could multiply these two together, but it makes a little bit larger number, so to make it a little simpler, we're going to multiply it by 100 and then divide that by 2. So multiply 65 by 100, all we're doing is adding 2 zeros. And then we're going to divide this in half. 65 divided by 2. Divide that by 2 is 3,250. Then we go back here, 8 times 7. Multiply those together, that's 56. Add them together, come up with 6. 5 plus 5 is 10. Carry the 1, 3, 3. We come up with an answer, 3,306. I hope that's making sense. Like I said, these are tricks to try to get you to, when you're doing these, start to think about these in your head. Not using a calculator, because you got to realize that you aren't going to have a calculator available to you all the time. I know in today's world, we don't do math in our head anymore. We do it on a calculator almost always, and it kind of, the calculators kind of dumb us down. Because we forget, we forget how to do the basic math. And I'm just trying to show you ways to do it simpler. So we'll do another one. 52 times 56. Again, we have a base number of 50. 52 is 2 greater. 56 is 6 greater than 50. Add them diagonally. 52 plus 6 is 58. Again, we'll multiply times 100, divide it by 2. We multiply 58 times 100, we're just adding 2 zeros. That's what makes it so much simpler. Divide 58, divide 100 by 2, and we come up with 2,900. Come back here, multiply 2 times 6 equals 12. We're going to add the 12 to the 2,900. We come up with 2,912. You know, we're doing this on the board, and I want you to do it the same way on your paper, just as I'm doing it on the board. But the goal is, after you've done it on paper long enough, you're going to be able to see these problems, and you're going to be able to solve them in your head. Again, we'll do the same thing. 51 times 56. It's got a base of a 50. I hope you get that. They're both in the 50s. This is 1 greater than 50. This is 6 greater than 50. We're going to add diagonally. We can add either direction. This time I'm going to add it the other way. 56 plus 1 is 57. Again, we're going to multiply by 100, divide by 2. When we multiply by 100, all we're doing is 57. We're just adding the 2 zeros. Now we divide that by 2. 5,700 divided by 2 is 2,850. We're going to multiply these two numbers. 2,850 plus 6 equals 2,856. Okay? As you're going through these, don't be afraid to pause the video, rewind it, watch it again, and try to follow this pattern that I'm showing you, this simple little tricks, so you can start to learn how to do these. Another one, 58 times 59. You know, it's a large number, but you can be doing these thoughts in your head. This is 8 bigger. This is 9 bigger. Add diagonally one direction. 58 plus 9 is 67. Times it by 100, then divide it by 2. So all we're doing to the 67 is we're adding 2 zeros. Now we're going to divide 6,700 divided by 2. 3,350. Multiply these two together. 9 times 8, 72. We have 2. 7 and 5 is 12. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3,422. We'll do a couple more. I hope this is helping to make math. I know it's different than what you're used to, but hopefully it makes you start to see the numbers a little bit differently. And as I said, if you do the work, these few problems that I give you, if you do just these few problems, write them out exactly how I write them out on the board, you're going to be surprised that when you see these numbers, you're going to be able to do it yourself in your head. We can have larger numbers. We can go 57 times 62. This one we can use a base number of 60 or a base number of 50. And I want to use a base number of 50 because it's easier to multiply with 100. So 57 is 7 greater than 50. 62 is 12 greater. 57 plus 12, or 62 plus 7, is 69. Multiply by 100, divide by 2. Multiply 69 times 100. You're just adding 2 zeros. Then you're going to divide it by 2. 6,900 divided by 2, 3,450. 12 times 7 is 84. Add those together. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry the 1. 4 plus the 1 is 5. 3,534. So that's even a little more complex number. We'll do a couple that have negatives. Um, 48 times 54. Again, we're going to use a base number of 50. 48 is 2 less than. So we've got to remember the negative. 54 is 4 more. We've got a positive. We're going to add diagonally. 48 plus 4 is 52. Again, we're going to multiply it by 100. Divide by 2. 52 times 100. We just add the 2 zeros. That gives us 5,200. Divide this by 2. 52 divided by 2 is 2,600. Multiply these two together. A positive 4 times a negative 2 is a negative 8. So we end up with a negative 8. So now we're subtracting. We're going to subtract 2,600 minus 8. Ten minus 8 is 2. Bring down the 9, the 5. 2,592. So you got to remember when you have multiplying negative numbers, a positive plus a negative equals a negative, so you got to remember to subtract. We'll do one more. I'll do one more negative again. Uh, 47 times 58. Again, we'll go with a base number of 50. 47 is 3 less than 50. 58 is 8 more than 50. We're going to add these diagonally. So I'm going to add this direction this time. 58 minus 3 is 55. We'll times that by 100. Divide it by 2, times 55 times 100. It's just to add 2 zeros. We come up with 5,500. Divide this by 2. We get 2,750. Now we have multiply a negative times a positive. It's 24, but it's negative 24. So now we're subtracting 24 from the 2,750. 10 minus 4 is 6. 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down the 7, bring down the 2. 2,726. Like I said, you should be able to start to do these in your head. You can multiply them 72 times 73. You can do the same thing with this. A base number of 70, 2 greater, 3 greater. It gets into a larger math. 72 plus 3 is 75. Now you're multiplying, a larger number. So 75 times 70, I'll just go 75 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3, 7 times 7 is 49, plus 3 is 52. Don't forget about the 0. 5,250. 2 times 3 is 6. So we're going to add 6. 5,256. So you can do those with any of the 2-digit numbers. And make sure I did that one right. 5,256, yep. So if you begin to look at these, you'll begin to see, when you see those numbers, you'll be able to begin to do this in your head. You'll see that it's a base of 20. Okay, you'll know that this, you're going to add 24 plus 3, you're going to have 27. So your answer is going to be 27 times 2, which is going to be 54. So you got 540. 540 plus 12, 552 is going to be your answer. Right? Because that's just doing it in my head. So we have a base number of 20. This is 4 greater. This is 3 greater. That's 27. 27 times 20 is 54. Plus the 0, 5,040. 4 plus 3 is 12. 2, 5, 552. Like I said, you'll be able to do these in your head. The more you practice these, the more you're going to be able to do them in your head. You won't need a calculator. And that's the goal. The goal is for you guys to be able to start doing math in your head, where you're going to look like a genius when you see numbers, and you're just going to be able to simply multiply them in your head, where somebody else is going to have to take out the calculator, get out a piece of paper, write it all out. I want you to learn how to be able to write it out in your head. But for this assignment, you need to write everything down. You need to write every step down. Okay, you need to write 50 is the base number. It's minus 3, it's plus 8. Draw that arrow. Times it by 100, divide it by 2, 5,500. Divide by 2, multiply those. Add or subtract it, here's your answer. So I want all those steps. And the reason I want you to do all those steps is because I want this to become ingrained in your heads, so that it becomes simple. If you don't practice it, it doesn't become ingrained in your head. So just keep practicing them. It's just going to be a few problems again. But as I said, as you're watching the video, stop the video. Rewind it. If you watched it and you don't get it, than to have the problems in front of you and start working out a problem as I'm working it out. Or work out the exact same number, the 47 times 58, and do the exact same steps as I'm doing the steps. I'm trying to not go too fast, but I don't want to have you guys have a long video to watch either. So I hope this helps, and we'll do a little something different next week for math, but I wanted to show you another step from what we learned last week. All right, thanks guys.